Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to day 7 of the holiday card series for 2020. Today's card is all about making something really fast and easy. I had a little bit of time right before I was going to dinner, and I had about a half hour, and I thought, you know what, can I make a card in that amount of time? And I did. In fact, this card only took 20 minutes to complete. So let's get into it. Going to be using the Painted Shapes stamp set from Concord and Ninth, and I'm going to pick out 4 different colors of ink from Concord as well. I'm using Midnight, Oceanside, Aqua Sky, and then I decided to throw in some Dove in there just to give it a little bit of a different tone that is still light in color. I'm using the very large heart stamp from the stamp set, and I'm going to slide a little piece of paper right underneath where the stamp will be on my MISTI door so you can see where I'm applying the color. Starting with the color Dove, and I'm going to be doing a technique that I have dubbed ink painting. I have no idea if that's an actual term or if I'm just dubbing it myself, but it gives the whole entire piece a sort of look similar to using a jelly plate. So I'm applying color with the different colors. I'm now using Aqua Sky in just various places on this very solid image, and then stamping it over onto my project. I've shown this technique multiple times in recent months, and it still is one of my most favorite. You never get the same exact result every time, and it's a little bit different. You don't know entirely what it's going to look like until you've made it. So I think it's really kind of fun. The colors I'm using today are meant to go with the greeting that I've chosen. I really wanted to use the Warm Hugs die from Simon Says Stamp, and so I thought making sort of icy, snowy colors would be a good combination. So I've used Oceanside, and I've gone back to that Aqua Sky to add a little more of that pale blue. And then I'm going to bring in Midnight, and I'm going to use this color very sparingly because it is the darkest and most intense shade out of the color range that I've chosen for today. So just little bits of blue. And I'll stamp that down onto my project on the side there. So there's this little pattern element in the stamp set that I thought would be really cool to bring in. So I'm going to pull it off the stamp sheet and kind of figure out exactly where I want it on my heart. Decided it would nestle up in that top curved corner on the left pretty well. So I stamped that in the Midnight color. I moved the stamp down a little bit, and then I added just a little bit of that Midnight shade on one side. And then I'm going to add more of the Oceanside color, kind of filling in the gaps on that image. Not the full amount of the image, but just a little bit. Just wanted a hint of that texture. So here is my heart image. This is going to be the main focal area of my card. I love how that turned out. Now I mentioned I wanted to use the Warm Hugs die from Simon Says Stamp. This is one of mine that I designed. It's my lettering. And I love this Warm Hugs. It makes me think of Frozen, and also just sending hug greetings to family and friends during the winter time, or any time really. I'm using this holographic cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. This comes in their variety pack of hollow cardstocks, and it has this really cool kind of linear texture on it. It reminds me of the front of a refrigerator in a weird way, a little more shiny than a regular stainless steel refrigerator, but it kind of has that really cool vibe. I trimmed down my stamped piece and also that holographic cardstock so that the holographic cardstock would cover the entirety of the front of the card. So I have my card base here made out of some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock, and then I'm adhering that holographic cardstock on top using Tombow Extreme adhesive. Put some foam adhesive on the back of my stamped panel, and then put that down directly onto the front of my card. I'm now going to put some liquid adhesive on the back of my Warm Hugs greeting. I'm just using some Gina K Designs Connect glue for this. And I'm going to put it right over the top. Now you could leave it like this, but I decided I wanted to add another greeting down at the bottom. So similar that I've done it recently, I'm going to be adding a very narrow strip of a greeting at the very bottom of this greeting area. Got some dark navy cardstock from Hero Arts, and I'm stamping a very small greeting from the Tiny Words Christmas stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. Used an anti-static powder tool and then stamped that greeting in Versamark ink. I'm going to be using some sterling embossing powder from Bertus Monroe. It's a nice silver shade, and it's going to kind of bounce off the holographic cardstock and look a little bit more like it belongs. So I sprinkled that on, tapped off the excess, and then hit that with my heat tool until it was smooth and melted. I trimmed that down to a very narrow strip, put some foam adhesive from Darice on the back, and then used my tweezers to position this greeting just right, and then pressed it down onto my project. And that is the finished card. In total, I spent about 20 to 22 minutes on this card, and it worked up super, super quick. What did you guys think of that color combination? I love those colors from Concord and Ninth. That was the first time I'd used the midnight color, and it's so beautiful, that nice deep blue shade. It works so well with the other shades that I had picked out. And that holographic cardstock has my heart. It's so great. It's holographic, but it's not so super blingy and flashy. It's just super shiny and beautiful. I love how that turned out. On screen, I've got 3 more videos for you to check out. These are previous years of the holiday card series. And don't forget to check out all the videos listed down below in the video description. Those are all of the day 7 videos going back to 2009. I will see you guys on Wednesday for day 8. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.